This is the Khoodeelaar television channel being broadcast on the internet, only on the internet, not on satellite, not on terrestrial, not on cable platform. The Khoodeelaar television channel being broadcast only on the internet. It's the Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto Editions. And this is the one that includes the SkodgieAngelBabyKittens kitten ones family, 1978 to 2024. This is the Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto Editions investigation on behalf of the baby kittens, the princess kittens ones. This one is serial 1, and the time is 0400 GMT, Saturday the 21st. The time of the broadcast, the official editorial broadcasting time is 400 hours GMT, Saturday, 21st of December 2024. The last few days we have been observing a rare phenomenon in terms of the situation in Bangladesh, as far as it is reflected in the print media in the United Kingdom. The Daily Mail, of course, splashed the Daily Mail of Thursday, the 19th of December, 2024, splashed on the front page. And this is the splashing front page. And I'll try to get that. It says the pressure on Starmer's anti-corruption chief, Tulip Siddiq, to urgently step aside. And the main splashing words are minister in £4 billion bribery probe over Putin-funded power plant. There's a special security correspondent, Abul Taher. A Labour minister is being investigated over claims she and members of her family took bribes of up to £4 billion. City Minister Tulip Siddiq, who is responsible for stamping out corruption in Britain's financial sector, is being investigated for the alleged embezzlement linked to a nuclear power plant deal in her native Bangladesh. I'm editing the next paragraph. Bangladesh's Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, launched the probe into Ms. Siddiq, her UK-based mother, Sheikh Rehana Siddiq, and her aunt, Sheikh Hasina Wazid, the ousted former Prime Minister of Bangladesh. This is continued on page 4 of the Daily Mail. And the main front page splash continuing on page 4 reads, Sheikh Hasina ruled the country with an iron fist for more than 15 years. Hasina fled Bangladesh to India in August with Rehana at her side after weeks of violent protests in which security forces killed hundreds of civilians. The investigation was launched after an order from the country's High Court, which heard claims that Tulip Siddiq may have helped to broker the nuclear deal worth £10 billion in total. The power plant was built by a Russian state-backed company called Rosatom. That is, of course, an abbreviation for Russian Atomic Energy Company or whatever. Rosatom, and the deal was signed inside the Kremlin back in 2013 by Hasina and Vladimir Putin in the presence of Ms. Siddiq, who was then a Labour councillor in the London Borough of Camden. The ACC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is also probing other members of Ms. Siddiq's family, including her maternal cousin, Sajib Wazed Joy, who lives in the United States, and her paternal uncle Tariq Siddiq, who is believed to be hiding in Bangladesh. They were named in the court papers. An anti-corruption commission official said yesterday the commission is committed to ensuring transparency and accountability, irrespective of the stature of those involved. Last night, Ms. Siddiq declined to comment, but a source close to her said the allegations which first emerged on an American website were spurious. Saeed Farouk, the UK General Secretary of Hasina's Awami League Party and a family friend of Ms. Siddiq, said these stories are fabricated. These are 100% politically motivated attacks against the Hasina family by the current government. They're attacking Tulip because she is the niece of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, unquote. It's not using former Prime Minister, it's referring to our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina as if she is still in post as Prime Minister of Bangladesh. The bribes probe is the latest controversy surrounding Ms. Siddiq since she became city minister in July. Within weeks, she was investigated by Parliament standards after the Mail on Sunday revealed she did not declare rental income for a London property for almost 14 months. Parliamentary rules require members to declare such income within 28 days. So corruption and greed and negligence, selfishness, lack of transparency is not new to the character and behavior and conduct of Tulip Siddiq. The minister, whose official title is Economic Secretary to the Treasury, apologized and was cleared by the commissioner, who accepted the mistake was inadvertent. In August, the same newspaper revealed how Ms. Siddiq moved into a £2 million 5-bedroom house 2 years ago, which she rented from a political ally of her then Prime Minister aunt, the landlord Abdul Karim. The landlord Abdul Karim was given special business privileges in Bangladesh after Ms. Siddiq, 42, and her family moved in. The minister denied any wrongdoing at the time. The latest probe into Ms. Siddiq and her family comes after Bobby Hajjaj, a Bangladeshi opposition politician, filed a High Court petition in September. It was made in response to various articles in the Bangladeshi media quoted in court papers that alleged Ms. Siddiq and her family took bribes in the nuclear deal. The deal to build the Roopur nuclear power plant in Ishwardi Upazila, 128 miles northwest of the capital Dhaka, was signed between Hasina and Putin in 2013 in a grand ceremony in the Kremlin where Ms. Siddiq, her mother Rihanna, 69, and the minister's younger sister, Azmina, 34, were present. A beaming Miss Siddiq and her family even posed for photos with the Russian leader afterwards. The Bangladeshi media reports were triggered by an article on a US-based news website called Global Defense Corporation, which detailed how the £4 billion was siphoned off by Ms. Siddiq and her family members. The RIT adds, quote, the respondent number 13, Ms. Siddiq, is a British member of parliament and the niece of the respondent number 10, Hasina. She was instrumental in managing the affairs and coordinating meetings with Russian government officials regarding the Roopur nuclear power plant project. The documents further allege that 90% of the 10 billion cost of the power plant was met by a loan from the Kremlin to the Hasina government. But £4 billion was embezzled by the Hasina family in collusion with Russian officials through Malaysian banks. The documents say it is alleged that the respondent number 13, Ms. Siddiq, along with respondent number 10, Hasina, and other family members received 30% of the embezzled funds in exchange for their mediation. The papers claim that up to £709 million was siphoned out of Bangladesh through a fake company called Praicha Limited to different countries, including the United Kingdom. Hasina's rule was characterized by human rights violations, extrajudicial killings, and disappearances of political opponents, with groups such as Amnesty International highlighting the abuses in their reports. The Bangladeshi court issued an arrest warrant for her and her son Sajib Wajid. Said last month issued an arrest warrant for her and her son Sajib Wajid. Said last month his mother was ready to face trial and has done nothing wrong. Well, that sentence in the Daily Mail article is incorrect grammatically. So I'll read that paragraph or that sentence again. A Bangladeshi court issued an arrest warrant for her and her son Sajib Wajid said last month his mother was ready to face trial and has done nothing wrong. But since Hasina was ousted, various court papers have been lodged citing her and her family members over the murders as well as other corruption issues. Ms. Siddiq has in the past praised her aunt as a role model, but has not publicly commented on her ousting in August. However, the Treasury Minister, that is the British Treasury Minister, British Treasury Minister's connections with her aunt's hardline political party, the Awami League, go back more than a decade, as she once worked as its British spokesman. Joe Robertson, the Tory MP for Isle of Wight East, said, it is clear that there are serious questions that demand answers. What is the minister's involvement? What exactly is the nature of these allegations, and how can she possibly continue in post while under such serious investigation? The Treasury, Labour Party, and Ms. Siddique declined to comment, but a source said she had not been contacted about the matter. Last night, Rosatom could not be contacted, but it was said previously Rosatom rejects the provocative news published and circulated in the media regarding unethical financial transactions in the Rupur nuclear power plant project. This last paragraph is within quotes. We are committed to transparent working practices, strict anti-corruption policies, and openness in all procurement processes. We view the false information published and circulated in the media as an attempt to discredit the project, which is vital for addressing Bangladesh's electricity shortage, unquote. And there is this other profile piece in the Daily Mail on page 4. Moment minister cozied up to despot at Kremlin. Again, the security correspondent Abul Taher is the byline holder. City Minister Tulip Siddique faces fresh questions after videos emerged of her with an official delegation at the signing of a $1 billion arms deal and a nuclear power plant project with Vladimir Putin. The footage shows Ms. Siddique at the Kremlin as part of an entourage led by her aunt Sheikh Hasina and appears to contradict previous claims that it was a family occasion. It comes 9 years after the Mail on Sunday revealed a smiling Ms. Siddique had been photographed at the 2013 event alongside Putin and her aunt, who was Bangladesh's then Prime Minister. At the time, Labour insisted that Ms. Siddique, then a parliamentary candidate, had been totally separate from any official delegation, but was invited to an event with her family. But the videos revealed that the family event was an official ceremony inside the Kremlin. They show Putin and Hasina sitting at an ornate desk with Russian and Bangladeshi flags draped on the wall behind them. Both leaders were filmed delivering speeches praising each other's countries before signing a $1 billion arms deal. The controversial Rupur nuclear power plant deal, which is now being investigated in Bangladesh over claims that Ms. Siddique and members of her family took bribes worth £4 billion, was also signed at that ceremony. The family photo with Putin took place after the signing in the same room. Meanwhile, a second video has emerged from the 3-day Moscow visit showing Hasina receiving a guard of honor as she lays a wreath at the tomb of the unknown warrior. It also features Ms. Siddique, 41, and her sister Azmina, 34, walking behind their aunt alongside the Bangladeshi delegation. A Labour spokesman said this event was 11 years ago, before Tulip was an MP. Tulip only went to Russia to see her aunt and spend time with her family. She had no role at any events she attended beyond being a family member. A Tory party spokesman said this raises some serious questions about the circumstances regarding Tulip Siddique's so-called family trip to Moscow. Over a decade later, it's about time Miss Siddiq finally comes clean about her visit and the truth behind this photograph. Now, on the same issue, the Daily Mail is continuing its extensive coverage. On page 18 of the Daily Mail on Friday, the 20th of December, 2024. This is the main editorial in the Daily Mail, which is Daily Mail comment. And it's headed Corruption Claim Tests Prime Minister's Judgment. The Prime Minister in question is, of course, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at the time. A key role of the City Minister is to fight corruption in Britain's financial sector. So how troubling that the current incumbent of this Treasury post is herself under investigation for embezzlement. Tulip Siddiq is being probed over a claim she and her family siphoned off £4 billion intended for a Kremlin-funded nuclear power plant in her native Bangladesh. The allegation is part of a formal inquiry by the Bangladesh government into her aunt Sheikh Hasina Wazid, an autocrat who ruled the country for 15 years. Given the seriousness of the accusation, how is it possible for Ms. Siddiq to remain in post? After all, she has influence over billions of pounds of British taxpayers' money. The Labour MP may, of course, be entirely innocent, but surely the most prudent and honourable course of action would be to step down, pending her name being cleared. Until then, a cloud of suspicion will inevitably hang over her head. Indeed, imagine if a Tory minister had found themselves embroiled in an identical scandal. Labour would shriek for resignations. The BBC would frenziedly live blog, and Emily Maitlis and the lefty commentariat would post endless overwrought tweets. So Keir Starmer says he retains full confidence in Ms. Siddiq, who has not yet commented on the allegations. But what due diligence did the Prime Minister do on Ms. Siddiq before he gave her the job? Once more, this raises questions over Sir Keir's judgment. Where suitability for high office is concerned, many of his cabinet appointments have been found wanting. Foreign Secretary David Lammy has little understanding of diplomacy and sparse knowledge of the world. He notoriously claimed Libya was next door to Syria. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, whose misleading CB called her an economist, has sent the economy into a tailspin. Louise Haque, the Prime Minister's erstwhile Transport Secretary, quit over the revelation she was a convicted fraudster, and Sir Keir himself has been beset by sleaze allegations. No one has been more pious in lecturing us about bringing integrity back to politics. Yet his government is already one of the most dishonorable in living memory. So what is the Prime Minister going to do about Ms. Siddiq? Act decisively and ask her to step down or sit on his hands? We will know, now reading that again, we all know the answer to that question? Now, that Daily Mail editorial does something that has not happened for a very long time about Bangladesh in the British media, which is that the British media has done something that should have happened, but hasn't happened until this embezzlement, corruption by Tulip Siddiqui came into fore, which is that Bangladesh, whose separation from the then Pakistan executed on the 16th of December 1971 by the decisive military intervention by India, then fronted by Indira Gandhi, on the 16th of December 1971. Bangladesh's independence was preceded by 9 months of worldwide information campaign for the separation of then East Pakistan from the United Pakistan. And the leading information internationally in support of Bangladesh